Hi everyone, so for today, for September 15th, I've posted the resources for the Rosary for Our Lady of Sorrows and for EWTN. As a member of EWTN, a media missionary, they do send us some actions to take, and so I've posted the link to go to their page. If you want, you can download the ebook on Our Lady of Sorrows and the prayers. I do have the rosary here at home for Our Lady of Sorrows, and I first encountered that because of the teaching of Father Chad Ripperger. He is an exorcist, and he's somebody that teaches about spiritual battles and how to pray the prayers of protection. All prayers are prayers of protection, but I do listen to some of them, and I do pray some of them on YouTube. But Father Chad is very good, and that's where I got that book on the spiritual warfare and the prayers to say in daily life. So if you want, you can download them, you can look at them. And we have two different rosaries. So we have the normal rosary, which would be this one, the green one, where we say the 5 decades and we remember Jesus's life, death, resurrection. Basically, if you're saying the rosary, you're commemorating Jesus's life. And then this is the rosary for Our Lady of Sorrows. So it's not the same as the other rosary. You can also use a normal rosary, because you can download that guide and then use the normal rosary, just counting the 7 Hail Marys and using that. But I do have this one as well. St. Joseph's Oratory has a lot of the rosaries, medals, things like that, if you want to get them for your home, or you know somebody that might want them. And reflecting on the sorrows of Our Lady it's a good thing to do, because Our Lady appeared in Rwanda before the massacres started happening, and she asked us to pray. She asked us to pray for unity, for people to turn to Christ, and to pray that evil would not come. But it came still. And the Rwanda massacres were awful. The things that happened were awful. I watched that movie, Hotel Rwanda. I cannot watch it again. It was so bad. It was so awful. People driving their cars over dead bodies, people being raped, people being murdered. Even the priests were carrying out atrocities. They were raping the women and the girls. So when we talk about living Christ-centered lives, we also have to remember things like that, because that evil, that power that our priests had, that our nuns had, many of them abused it during that time of crisis. And it is very sad. And when we reflect on those sorrows of Our Lady, we're reflecting on how her heart was pierced by everything that she would have to go through, and that her son would have to go through, and those of us who follow Christ go through. We hold on to our faith, but that doesn't mean that everything that happens to us is fine. It doesn't mean that everything that happens to us must be celebrated when it's evil, including what's happening in Canada. What's happening in Canada is evil, where people like me, who are educated, who are doing good, who are helping others, are being pushed into poverty. Not for 1 or 2 years, for decades. For decades and decades and decades, we're not being given the support, we're not being given the financial help, we're not being given opportunities to come up in life, to own properties, and to be able to support ourselves and our families. And there are other people, they can do all the evil in the world, and they're being supported. They're being allowed to open up companies in America. They're pushing all the money out of the country. They're doing whatever they want, and they're running the country until the MPs revolt, and then it happens again. And it's really sad. That's all I can say. It's really sad for something like this to keep happening in Canada. And Canada started apartheid. Canada started this feudal system, which they still keep. They might not call it a feudal system, but it is, because many of us are not being allowed to come up in life. We're not being allowed to come up financially. And no matter what we do, people coordinate it so that things work out against us, so that we are stopped from getting transfers to good jobs in England, so that we are stopped from being the ones who are representing people or representing ourselves and our organizations where the decision makers are, the political leaders. It's coordinated. Even if you watch documentaries on like the foundations, Rockefeller, the Bilderberg Foundation, all these things, it's all coordinated. And I admire people who will go outside of the norm and will take that risk, because it's not easy. I'm one of the ones that's trying to make something of my life, and at every turn I'm being blocked. So I'm going to persevere, and I'm asking for prayers. I know people are praying for me, and I appreciate that. But after all these years in this country, you mean to tell me that there's no job for me that pays well? There's no place for me in Canada? That's perfectly fine. Then I can go back to Africa. I don't have any problem with it. In fact, I miss my country. I miss Zimbabwe every day. There are nights I cry myself to sleep. I miss it so much. I would be quite happy to pick up and go from here and go back to Zimbabwe and take all the contents of my household with me and live there and do something there with the schools, with the universities. Because here, people don't want to change because they like poverty. They like using the food banks. They like saying, oh, look what our government did for us. And I'm not that way. I'm the type of person who likes to say, look what I did for myself through God's blessing and power. I'm the type of person who likes my freedom. I don't like living under a feudal system and bowing down to the king. And even the queen didn't want her colonies in the end. She's like, give them their independence. I don't want a feudal system. So it's good to reflect on Our Lady of Sorrows, and to especially for us as women. I don't know how a woman can go through life seeing somebody suffering and not feel. I mean, it's awful. And it's awful what's happening to me in Canada. This is not the first time they've done this to me. They do it over and over and over, and they say, oh, we don't have any opportunity. That's a load of bullshit. In international companies they have roles all over the world, they don't have a position for me. That's rubbish. It's rubbish. It's just a way to keep certain people where they want us in certain positions, to serve them as they see fit. Even if we have all the credentials, even if we have all the experience, it's a way to keep us down and to keep us in a state of destitution, in a state of never coming up financially. That's what it is. And you can't say it's not coordinated. It is. Even the people who are selected to be our cardinals, to be representatives in the Vatican, to read in the church, it's all coordinated. Every single thing is coordinated, especially in Canada. And even the sisters that come here from America, from other parts of the world, the priests, they'll all tell you, they've told me directly, there's no reason you shouldn't be giving retreats, being paid to give retreats, having your tickets paid for, your flights paid for, having your accommodation paid for. They said it's coordinated. The priests even asked me, why do you go to Blessed Sacrament? They said it's a parish for the whites. I said, well, I live here. I live next door, so I go there. They said, this parish is for the whites. All the people in the paid position are whites. All the people that do the announcement are whites. I said, well, isn't it we go by jurisdiction? They said, we're going to pray for you. I said, yeah, do pray for me. And if you hear of paid opportunities in the church that I can get to that are commutable, or if I can relocate, then tell me. I tell them, because I'm also tired of it. All this Cardinal Collins, Cardinal Leo, you think they don't know what's happening to me? They know. And they're all just sitting by and watching it happen. All the Jesuits know, all the Sisters of Mercy know, the Sisters of St. Joseph, they all know. What are they doing? Nothing. So, all I can do is pray, turn to Our Lady and ask for that help and that breakthrough. My aunt, she has to work. She used to work 2 jobs, work at the Montessori and then go and work at Marshall's. But she did it because at least it gave her dignity. Here they won't even give you a position to work. And when they do work you, they work you like a dog. They work you to the bone till they destroy your health. That's Canada. And if you don't believe me, come here. Come and live here, then you'll see.